Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the plot. It's a gorgeous day again today. I've been very lucky recently with the weather. Last week we were pretty much just making a to-do list, and this week it's just time to finally get on and do some of the stuff that I've been putting off. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, it's a beautiful day and I've got loads of time up here today. So let's crack on with it. So much to get through today, I think. I'm going to start off just going around the beds. This is one of the worst. You might remember I mentioned it last week, but they're just getting a little bit weedy. So it's a bit of a boring job, but I'm just going to go in, first get all the big stuff with my hands, and then just go around the bigger beds with a hoe, because most of the weeds are still really little, which is good. This is how you're meant to do it. Just keep on top of it bit by bit. And then after I've done a bit of weeding, I'm going to get to work on the greenhouse, because that missing pane is quite a big issue. Next up, I'm just weeding these two beds. Like I said last time, they're not too bad at the moment, but they are being used as a toilet by either the foxes or the cats, which isn't very pleasant. So I'm just going to weed these and then quickly put some cardboard on top. And this will probably look a bit of an eyesore, but I'd much rather have this than be getting left presents from the foxes and the cats. Now, with the cardboard, it might look like I'm attempting a no-dig approach, but I'm literally just using this because I don't have any plastic to cover over the beds, and this is a pretty good and free alternative. I'm just going to put a little bit of compost on that will basically act as a weight, and I think when it comes time to plant this, I'll probably have to remove some pretty manky wet cardboard, but like I say, I'd much rather do that. And realistically, I should have done this a few months ago when I first took out the majority of the harvests, and I knew that the beds were going to be laid pretty much dormant. This would have been a better time to do it, but hey ho. So there we go, some of the cardboard's on. It's a bit of a funny one. I mean, some people love it, some people hate it, but I'll see if I get any negative comments about it. I've got a bit more that I want to put down, but first, there's a few things to harvest so I can actually empty the beds and then get them covered over. So the main crop that we've got to harvest today is the leeks, but also I'm going to take out these pretty ratty cabbages that I showed off last episode, I think, and just get this covered over. Give it a bit of time to rest before we start planting into it, kind of probably realistically more like April and May. Let's have a look at these leeks. So they're nothing to write home about, definitely on the small side, but the good news is there's no onion white rot, which does affect alliums as well, which is a good sign, and there's no sign of allium leaf miner, touch wood. So this is good news. I mean, like I say, a bit on the small side, but there's plenty of them, so we should be quite well stocked. Hopefully you can see, obviously I'm not completely no dig, probably a bit vigorous with the hoe for that as well, but I'm not trying to dig in here too much. I'm just loosely trying to lift the soil, which allows me to get the leeks up nice and easily. Otherwise they just break off at the top. And this is a good example of what happens if I don't dig it enough. I think this will be the last one for today. I'll leave a good few rows so I can come back and take them as and when. But this should also free up a load of the bed so I can get it covered. And we've got the best of both worlds. Nice. So here we are. I think we've done pretty well considering I've never grown leeks before and didn't know what I was doing. I'm going to get these washed up quick. Now, leeks actually store best when they're dry, supposedly anyway. So I'm just giving these a really quick rinse to get the majority of the kind of soil off so that I can take them home without getting shouted at. They're a bit filthy at the moment. And then just nice big bit of that. Dry them off a little bit. Now I'll trim these, trim the roots at home, and we should have absolutely loads of leeks. I'm a bit more happy about the leeks than I thought I would be actually. It's really nice, it's something I've literally never grown before, and although they're not the best, they've done pretty well. A lot of people said it was a bad year for leeks as well, so that made me feel a little bit better. Now I'm just going to clear out all this cabbage because, I mean, realistically, there's not much chance of it doing anything. This one I might leave, but yeah, all the seedlings that I planted, nada. Absolutely no go. So not really worth being sentimental about it. I'm just going to get rid of it, cover it up for next year. If I'd netted these, I think they would have done a lot better. They definitely got off to a good start, but they just got completely decimated by the birds, and it was my own fault really. It can be a little bit complicated trying to figure out how to net stuff and a little bit awkward, and I just never got around to it, so not the end of the world. It'll all be composted and go back into the soil eventually. This might actually have some edible leaves on it, so maybe I'll take that one back and could do something with it. So I'm gonna just get rid of these, and the thing that's so beautiful about the cardboard, I don't have to dig this over, don't have to do anything. I'll just put it on, it'll kill off everything underneath because it won't have any light, and then we should be able to take it off and plant straight into it pretty much. That's the theory anyway. Perfect fit as well. It really doesn't need much. This is just to hold it down as soon as it rains. This stuff probably not going anywhere, unlike me, or always losing my balance. Next thing I want to do, greenhouse pane. As you can see, the greenhouse needs a little bit of a repair. We've lost one of the polycarbonate panels from up here, which did blow absolutely miles away, but I did manage to find it, and you can see it inside there. It's okay. I would love to say it's as good as new. There's a bit of damage at the top. You can see where it's kind of been pushed in. So what I'm hoping I can do is just simply, he says, position this bamboo stick in the top. It's a little bit too thick, I think, and a little bit too long. So I'm going to need a smaller one to fit under the window. But if I can do that, hopefully that'll just give it a bit of extra stability. And hopefully it's not going to go anywhere. You can see how many clips I put in, because I didn't want this to happen again. It was a bit annoying. Okay, it took a while, but I think I finally got the right one here. It's a little bit small. It looks like it won't do much, but it kind of bends inwards. I'm hoping that might just give it a little bit of extra support. We'll see. We'll see when the next storm comes. What's next? Okay, so what's next? Let's have a look at the garlic bread. Every time. The garlic bed, not garlic bread. Now I've got 3 cloves here, and this variety something's gone a little bit wrong here. This variety is called Extra Early White, and I ordered this from the Isle of Wight Garlic Farm in a multi-pack. And what happens on the website when you click the Extra Early White, it takes you to a page for a different garlic entirely, which is called the Solent White. And last episode I showed a little clip from the website of the Solent White, thinking that's what I'd bought because that's what the link takes you to. Anyway, this is important because the Solent White is meant to be planted now, which is why I've waited till now. And the Extra Early White is in fact meant to be planted like 2 months ago when the rest of these went in. So we're gonna have some spring garlic here, and I've got three bulbs. Not ideal, but we'll see how they do. It's probably gonna be pretty small, but like I say, we'll see what happens. So it is really starting to dawn on me quite how much space I've given over to the garlic and how many garlic plants I'm growing. But I think it's a good thing, isn't it, to have too much? Definitely better than not having enough. And I still don't know if this is going to be that successful or if onion white rot is on the plot and is going to kick my butt. We'll find out. The ones that are in so far doing pretty well. But I've just broken these up. They look pretty good, as you can see. And I'm just going to do what I did last time. I did a whole video on planting out the garlic, so if you want to see that, it was only a few months ago, and it's lovely and easy to plant. So I'm just going to do the same spacing as before, and we should be good. So there we go, that's the Extra Early White in. You can see I've done the same thing as before with these bamboo canes, which worked really well actually. It's been kind of instrumental in making sure that I haven't ruined any of these other plants. So I'm just going to pop those in and we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so this is really interesting. I was just coming in here to basically remove this broccoli that's fallen over. There's 2 plants in here that have completely fallen. And I showed last episode, kind of zoomed in on the roots down here, and you can kind of see where they've snapped off. And I thought maybe there was something completely wrong with the plants. And it wasn't just they'd been windblown, but that they'd died, basically, that there was something wrong with their roots. So I've just gone to lift them out, and actually, it turns out they're still perfectly rooted, and they're still growing just now in a different form. You can see this has started to grow up, which is really interesting, but it's good news because it means although these definitely aren't going to be the healthiest plants and they're going to look a bit sorry, they should still produce some new shoots. And if I cover up the kind of exposed, damaged roots, hopefully it will give them just that little bit better chance and we might get a bit more broccoli off it. Now, you might be wondering why we're back at the greenhouse. But I forgot about the borage, didn't I? I can't believe how big the base of this thing is. It's so chunky. It's growing right up against the timbers of the greenhouse, so it's got to come out, really. Now, there's a part of me that really just wants to get at the base of this and rip it up, but I think I'm going to be a bit more sensible about it, a bit more methodical, just kind of chop it up as I go, so it'll decompose nicely in the compost. Turns out dead borage doesn't smell very nice. There we go. I have a pretty good feeling that this isn't going to be the last we see of the borage. I think there's probably 100,000 seeds now scattered everywhere, but it was worth it for the bees. The size of this thing is absolutely crazy. I'm hoping it breaks down nice and easy. I'm gonna have to get in here and give this a bit of a weed, but it's not looking too bad. But this does bring me on to the next job, which is sorting out the compost. I mentioned this last episode, but the compost is just in disarray and we've got some manure coming soon. So I'm gonna get all of the stuff that isn't rotted into one bay. which is going to be hard work and I'm not looking forward to, but let's crack on with it. Okay, so here we are at the compost bay. Like I said last episode, this is kind of a mad mixture of two things. There's a lot of kale and grass and weeds and that kind of thing in here, and in here it's mostly charred and what looks like kind of rotted soil. So I think this is the one that's slightly better, but I'm running out of space anyway. There isn't much usable stuff in here, so I'm going to combine the two. I think I'm going to put them in this one because that then leaves this one to get filled up with manure. Hopefully the manure will be well rotted. It's kind of advertised as well rotted, but a lot of people say that, and it's pretty good price as well, so I'm thinking it will need a bit of time in here to rot down fully and become a nicer texture before putting it on the beds. So I think I'm going to combine this in here, and it's just going to be some hard work, isn't it? It's just going to take a little while, so we'll fast forward it and it'll probably be the last thing I do today. Okay, I need a break. My God. I don't even know where this has all come from. There's so much. And I can see some of it is spent compost because it's got perlite in it, but I don't remember having this much compost. Where's it all come from? Oh, there's lots of good reasons for doing this, but I'll talk about that when I'm done. I need a break. Okay, we're back. I'm feeling a little bit more coherent, although I have just realised that I totally forgot to put all of this actually in. It's a bit silly. Yeah, I really don't know where this has all come from though. But it's a good thing. It's reminding me what's in here. I'm sort of seeing how it looks as we go. And to be honest, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I've got a lot of compost that I can use, which is just, it's good news, isn't it? It's a nice surprise. Let's get this in. It's getting to the stage where I'm making a lot of noise for someone my age. I sound like I'm about 70 years old. We're getting there though. I've got to the part of the compost now where this is more soil than compost. This is stuff that I picked up from really early in the plot when I was digging all the beds over. And the good news is it's definitely changed consistency. So this is kind of what I was hoping would happen from where it was on the bottom of this compost, is that it would sort of get mixed into this old soil substrate. And you can still see it's quite a lot of clay content because you can form it into a ball, but it's so much more crumbly and softer textured than it was when it first went in here. So this stuff isn't the best, but the idea was always that it would get mixed in with compost over time. It seems to be working quite well. Ugh. You can tell because it's that much heavier than compost. Compost is so much lighter than actual soil. Okay, I think that just about does it. There's a little bit in here, but like I say, this is all just soil now. So over time, I'm hoping that the microorganisms and the worms will continue to mix this all in. Like I say, it's definitely showing an improvement, which is great. A bit of plastic. But yeah, let's have a look in here. I'll show you the before and after. So here is our new pile, and you can see there's a few kind of stringy bits of roots and that kind of thing, but this is mostly just kind of inert soil. It's kind of inorganic. Eli did a really good video recently about the differences between compost and soil, so check that out if you haven't seen it. Over here, this is what the empty bay is looking like, and you can see once again this kind of grey colour to the soil as well, which is really indicative. And it's because of that clay content, the lack of air, that gives it that kind of colour, I think. But we've got loads of space in here now to fill this up with manure. And I think I've got to be done for the day, haven't I? I'm absolutely exhausted, and we've done so much. Got the beds weeded, covered over for a little while. It doesn't look pretty, but I think it's pretty good. That wasn't a play on words, that was just me running out of words because I'm tired. I do need to quickly just put some more soil on top of these broccoli, and they should be fine. We've got the greenhouse panel all finished up, which is just brilliant. And we've got some more garlic planted, and everything's been weeded. It's looking a little tidier. Still plenty to do before we start growing, and I really want to get these apple trees done, so I think that will be next episode. But all that really remains for me to do now is a bit of tidying, getting everything ready, and just saying thank you to you guys. Thank you for watching, thank you for all the engagement, all the likes and the comments on the channel. It means a lot, so thank you ever so much, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.